This is not going how I imagined it would.
We need to talk.
You're all going to die.
There'll be no more than 500 million people on this planet.
We've been planning this for 30 years.
What have you got a gun for?
It's for shooting people.
Which was interesting because I've never experienced that before, where you basically, there's a house style, as you suggest, you know, and you're inheriting that. You know, you're inheriting a look that's been set by the director and the DP previously, you know. But you know, one would imagine that might be sort of frustrating, but it's not actually. It's sort of, in many respects, it's quite nice because there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. You know, they know that working on a sort of 4K red camera is the way they want to do it, because the director wants to be able to kind of reframe in post and do moves in and things like that. Well, that's fine. I'm not gonna fight that. I think there were lens differences, but I think they had like Zeiss super speeds, and I opted to use the Canon equivalent, which are K35s. So they were fairly similar. The director I'd worked with before, so I think actually that had there not been a season before, I'm pretty confident that the aesthetic is where it would have ended up anyway, because I think Ula, who shot the first series, obviously had very strong input and ideas, but Mark Munden, the director, also has very strong ideas of the framing and the aesthetic, and I think that's a lot of the look of Utopia is down to him as well. Certainly in terms of, he likes a lot of headroom, this idea of taking the 235 framing and pushing, you know, like Adil's character right in the background in one scene, and right, you know, low in the frame, and really stretching and put. I mean, Mark's very specific about the framing. You know, I'd be operating and I'd hear from the monitor, headroom, and I'd have to, you know, because it wasn't my go-to to have that much headroom. You know, so I inherited a certain aesthetic, but then actually the first episode was where I was able to kind of flex some different muscles, as it were, because we shot that 4:3. It had a different look. It was a way of embracing the popping colours of that Utopia is known for, but doing that in a different way, a more muted way, a less sort of chemical, artificial colour way that existed in the other things. So there were those things that could be built from the ground up, as it were, you know.